Tonight is Erev Sukkos, Tafshin Ayin Daled, and we just figured what better place to record tonight's shir, which is on the topic of Chag HaSukkos. What better place to record it than actually in the Sukkah? The Ba'er Hativ in Siman Tov Reish Lamed Tes says a very interesting thing, and I'm going to quote you the Ba'er Hativ. Kol HaMekayim Mitzvah Sukkah, anyone who is, or everyone who is Mekayim, the Mitzvah of Sukkah, Ki'ilu Na'aseh Shutaf LaKadosh Baruch Hu B'Maaseh Bereishis. Somebody who's Mekayim, the Mitzvah of Sukkah, you become a partner with HaKadosh Baruch Hu in Maaseh Bereishis, in the creation of the world. He brings that down from a Mariv. Very, very interesting statement. So right away at the beginning, the Nesivos Shalom asks a kasha that probably everybody who's watching has the same question right now. What does it mean to become a partner in Maaseh Bereishis? To become a partner in the creation of the world? What kind of partnership is this? Another question. How is it possible that through such an easy mitzvah, we know mitzvah sukkah essentially is quite an easy mitzvah. What do you have to do? You have to come into the sukkah, you can eat, you can sleep, whatever it is, but it's not a very tough mitzvah to do. Although some people may find the task of building a sukkah challenging, right? But the mitzvah sukkah itself is quite an easy mitzvah. So how is it that, and why is it that through such an easy mitzvah like sukkah, like we know, the famous Gemara in Masechta Avodah Zarah talks about that HaKadosh Baruch Hu La'asid Lavai, right, is gonna challenge the goyim with mitzvah sukkah, and he's gonna pick an easy mitzvah, the mitzvah of sukkah. But we see over here from this memra that a person becomes a shutaf b'maaseh bereishis, a partner with HaKadosh Baruch Hu through just doing the mitzvah of sukkah. So let me quote you another Gemara. The Gemara, Masechta Shabbos, Daf Kuf Yud Tes, Amud Beis. The Gemara says the following: Kol ha'omer vayechulu. Any person, or every person again, that says vayechulu, which we're talking about saying vayechulu on Friday night on Shabbos, the same thing. Ki'ilu naseh shutaf im HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'maaseh bereishis. Well, exactly what we said about Sukkah, we're saying the same thing about Shabbos, about saying Vayechulu on Shabbos. And l'chayri, we would have all the same questions of this Maimer Chazal that we had on Sukkah, we would have on Shabbos too. And what is it about these two mitzvahs, Sai the mitzvah of Sukkah, and Sai the mitzvah of Shabbos? What's the kesher between these two mitzvahs, and why do they warrant such a reward that now, to become a partner? Could you have a better partner than HaKadosh Baruch Hu? People look for good partners, right? You can't find a better partner. And you get it just for doing a simple mitzvah, right? So it's brought down, the Nesivos Shalom brings down from the Torah Sa'avos in Yonei Shabbos and Kuf Samach Tes, that first we have to know that there is a difference between Shabbos and Yom Tov. And we've mentioned this in the past. The Nesivos Shalom says the following: imagine that a prince, the son of a king, becomes estranged from his father. But the king, we know, doesn't want to totally never see his son. He doesn't want to become totally separate from his son, from the prince. So he wants to keep in touch in certain ways. And there are two different ways to keep in touch. Sometimes the king will keep in touch by making like a certain time and try to encourage his son to come to the palace and come to visit him. And at other times, the king will say, you know what, I'm mimoichel on my covet, no matter what, I want to see my son. I'm going to take certain times and I am going to see my son at different times. The Nesivos Shalom says that on Shabbos Kodesh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings us to him. Lehei chaloi kuloi amer kavoi. HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes us and brings us, raises our level on Shabbos, and brings us up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, brings up to himself. Kaviyacha. On Yom Tov it's different. Tomorrow night when it comes, the Yom Tov of Sukkos, Yom Tov is different. Yom Tov is the other way the king behaves. On Yom Tov, HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes to us, and He doesn't look at the way we are. HaKadosh Baruch Hu leaves the Pamai Shalmaila, He leaves His place from on high, and He goes from that place on high and comes down to us, and comes down to our place, and to us the way we are, Ba'asher Hu Sham, the way we are at that moment. The Medrash mentions in a few different places that from the time of Brias HaOlam, HaKadosh Baruch Hu desired that He should have a dwelling place, have a place in this world. Yes, in this world, the Olam HaShafel, in this low world, in this Olam HaTaivas, V'asuli mikdash b'shachanti b'soicham. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has everything up there. He has malachim, srafim, every holy thing is up in Shamayim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants a place down here with us. V'asuli mikdash b'shachanti b'soicham. Part of Brias HaOlam is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should have a place down here on this world. And the sukkah that we have, the sukkah that we build, is one such place, says the Nesivos Shalom. The sukkah is unique in the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when we build a sukkah, l'shem mitzvah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings down Hashras HaShechina from the Olam HaSelyonim, and He brings it to our sukkah when it's made l'shem mitzvah. If you do the right things with your sukkah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings Hashras HaShechina down to your sukkah tomorrow night for the entire duration of Sukkos. The Gemara Masechta Sukkah, Daf Tes Amar Aleph says the following: Kishem shechal shem shamayim al chagiga, just like that shem shamayim is chal on the yontif, also kach chal shem shamayim al sukkah. The same way the Torah says that there's a yontif of Sukkos, and of course there's a shem shamayim that's chal on Sukkos. Zok the Gemara that the shem shamayim is also chal on the etzem, on the sukkah itself. If a person does the right things in his sukkah, if you do mitzvah sukkah right, and you're doing the ratzon of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you are making a place for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, a place for HaKadosh Baruch Hu Himself on this world. Your sukkah becomes HaKadosh Baruch Hu's place. And Hashem could have a place, and it doesn't need one sukkah. Every person that builds his sukkah and does the mitzvahs of sukkah right, and acts in his sukkah, speaks divrei Torah, does the mitzvahs correctly, doesn't speak lashon hara in his sukkah, looks for good things to do in the sukkah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings down Hashras HaShechina. Your sukkah becomes Hashem's place. And it's for that reason, says the Nesivos Shalom, that dafka on this yontif, the ushpizin, we say, come down and join us in the sukkah. The ushpizin do not come on other Yom Tovim. The Ushpizin do not come on the Yom Naraim. We just passed Yom Naraim. Doesn't say anything about the Ushpizin coming on those very, very holy days. Why? Because the Ushpizin cannot come down to the Avir of this world. They cannot come down to the Avir of Olam Hazeh. They can't do that. But when a person makes a sukkah which is Kadosh, it creates a Kedusha from Olam HaSelyonim. Listen to that unbelievable thought. And that's why the Ushpizin can come down here, because your sukkah is a shtik kedusha, a shtik olam haba, a shtik olam HaSelyonim. And now, when you create that place, HaKadosh Baruch Hu feels comfortable, and the Ushpizin too are able to come down to the sukkah. Therefore, we can answer our questions. One who is mekayim the mitzvah of sukkah, why do you become a shutaf? Why do you become a partner with HaKadosh Baruch Hu in Ma'aseh Bereishis? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted from day one in Ma'aseh Bereishis that He should have a place of Hashras HaShechina in this world. And when you make your sukkah a place of Hashras HaShechina, you have a chelik in upholding the world. That's the reason HaKadosh Baruch Hu built this world. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is building the world, the Ma'aseh Bereishis, to have a place here. And you know what you do? You're helping HaKadosh Baruch Hu with His job. You're upholding the reason why this world was created. The world was created for HaKadosh Baruch Hu to have places here in this world. And the same thing would apply to Shabbos. When a Yid says Vayichulu, and he is Mekabel, the Kedusha Shabbos, what are you doing? You're bringing the Shechina into this world. You're bringing the Shechina to your home. Once again, you're becoming a shutuf because you're making a place. You're cutting out a place in your own abode. You're cutting out a place for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're cutting out a place for Hashras HaShechina. The Nesivos Shalom says that it's something we need to remember. You have to remember the tachlis of Sukkos. In every way, a person has to try on Sukkos to bring Hashras HaShechina to your Sukkah. You're bringing Hashras HaShechina to this world. And the same applies to the Daled Minim. The Daled Minim, which we do also on Sukkos, we know that each one of the Daled Minim, we can't go into the whole thing exactly now. We have, right now we have time constraints, but the Daled Minim, each one of the Daled Minim represents another part of a person's body. And the purpose, one of the inyanim and machshavos in the Daled Minim is to bring Kedusha to all parts of a person's body, to turn the person into a holy person. And that is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. And that is why the Gemara says, La'asid Lavoi, what's going to happen? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to test the Umas Ha'olam. The Gemara goes through over there. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to test the Umas Ha'olam. He's going to take out the hot sun, like in Kufas Tammuz, and the Goyim are going to kick the sukkah and leave the sukkah. We can't get into that whole sukkah right now. But Hashem is going to test them with a simple mitzvah, right? With mitzvah sukkah. Why? Because it's simple, but it's not so simple. On Sukkot we know Teishvu Ke'ein Taduru. We want to live in the sukkah exactly doing the things that we do in our home the entire year. We want to do all of those things in the sukkah. What do we want to show HaKadosh Baruch Hu? That even our regular activities that we do a whole year, we eat, we sleep, we carry on our day. You know what we do? We take that whole thing and we bring it into the sukkah, and we take the Daled Minim and we show that every part of our body and every part of our lives has the capability to raise the level and make it into something of Kedusha. And that is the Ratzon Hashem. That is one of the lessons of Chag HaSukkos. That is one of the lessons that when you come to Sukkot, it shouldn't be that you somehow float through 7 days of Sukkot, Shmini Atzeres. We go through an entire Yom Tif, and sometimes it's like a tunnel. You go into the Yom Tif, you shoot out the other side, and somehow you forget everything. You don't pick up anything in between. Remember, Sukkot is about Hashras HaShechina. Sukkot is about taking our lives, and in every part of our lives, putting Kedusha into it, and showing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, your will is our will. Every activity that we do could be made into Avodas Hashem. And through that, we become a partner with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Can you think of a better partner? I can't think of a better partner. Imagine, after Chag HaSukkos, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, that person, or this family, these people, they're now my partners. They gave me a home. Who doesn't want to welcome HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Who doesn't want that we should have the Siyata D'Shmaya that the entire year after Sukkot, when we leave the Sukkah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu's here. He was a guest of ours. And now he sees us. He notices us. He cares about us. HaKadosh Baruch Hu cares about everybody we know. But imagine if your home becomes a home of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Let's take this lesson and use the time of Chag HaSukkos and all the unbelievably wonderful mitzvahs that Baruch Hashem we have the opportunity to do. Remember, appreciate that. Years ago, people didn't have this opportunity. It's so easy to have a sukkah, Daled Minim. There's thousands of Daled Minim wherever you look. Esroigim flying all over the place. We love him. It's unbelievable. We're so fortunate. Let's thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu and say we're going to use your mitzvah right. I'd like to wish everybody a Chag Sameach, a good Yom Tov for everybody, everywhere in the world that you're watching this. And in Mirz Hashem, we should be Zoicha Taka after we do this wonderful mitzvah very soon, that we should be able to be Oil Regel and do that mitzvah of Sukkot together with Karev.